beautiful accompaniment.
My pleasure.
Much nicer than the iPod, isn't it?
So much for technology.
No, got to have the real thing. So this is Mark Romero. For those of you, I think most of you know them and have seen him here before. Mark is not only our guest musician today, but also our guest speaker. So welcome. He's going to be talking to us about how to make your life a symphony, playing on the words, of course, the music, and the beauty of having all of your life line up in all aspects, both mind, body, and soul. So he's going to be sharing his insights with us in just a few minutes. So everybody okay with the temperature? Hi, please, come on in. So on Wednesday night, we teach a class called Access in the Life. It's a free group discussion. And I was telling the group in there, for those of you that were here, what it's like working in the temple every day. And the people that come across my door, whether they're teachers, practitioners, clients, employees, friends, that each and every one of them is a teacher in every way. And so is it for you. All the people that come into your life are teachers, whether they're your employers, your employees, your parents, your children, your husbands, your wives, your children, your friends. Everybody shows up in a way that can teach you something. And your perspective on what it is that they're here to show you will enable you to benefit from it and take advantage of the mirror that they are in your life. Or you can simply be on that merry-go-round of riding around in that circle, believing that you're caught up in what's happening and that you are simply somebody who's riding around in that carousel of life, not having any control over what's happened. Just being on that ride, saying, I'm here and there's nothing I can do about it, and this is my lot in life because I'm short, because I'm tall, because I'm old, because I'm a this or a that, or I didn't have a this. So you can define your life by whatever carousel you're on. Sometimes you realize that you're on that carousel, and sometimes you don't. And the real joy comes when you realize not only are you on it, and that it's going around in a circle, but that you can get off if you want to. You can actually watch it going around. You can gain some pretty unique perspective by just recognizing that you're not obligated to be caught up in the circle of things that are happening. You can get off and you can look at it from a different perspective, and you can change things on and get back on that one, or you can go and get on a different one. But there's nothing in your life, not even one single thing in any regard, in any way, that you are stuck with, that you can't change. I've probably reinvented myself 1,000 times in the last 7 years. And every day I reinvent myself and gain a new perspective on what it is that I can create, and what it is that I can change. And I'm even still at this point in time, even though I work in a place like this where everything is shifting and changing, not even daily, but momentarily. Things change here every minute. The energies shift. And even with that, sometimes I can forget. And I'll hear myself saying, oh, well, this is the way that is. And I have to shake it off and remind myself, there is nothing that is, quote, the way it is. Absolutely nothing. We were taught that, weren't we? Growing up, all of our parents and our teachers, everybody said this is the way of things. That's how we do things. This is how the world works. This is how our government does things. This is what you have to do in school. This is what you have to do in life to get ahead. It's a lot of lessons to shake off and realign, isn't it? But you can. You can change every single one of them. And people would ask, well, what would the world look like if we didn't have structure? I don't know. But as long as it's based in love, mutual respect, creativity, joy, sense of community, it couldn't be anything unpleasant, not from my perspective. We're just so accustomed to the old ways that we do them just without even thinking, don't we? Even as something as simple as the way we drive our car to come here today and get dressed and eat breakfast and use our cell phones and our keys and everything. We're just so accustomed to just doing it and going in it and riding along. You probably have about 1 million different carousels that you get on every day without even realizing it. It just goes around and it just does the same thing. But you don't have to do that. So Mark's going to take over the talk here, and he's going to talk to us about his topic, and then I'll finish up after Mark.
All right.
So
Sounds
thank you
good.
for being here.
Hey, my pleasure. How's everybody today? Wonderful. Who would agree that the world is rapidly changing, that things are happening very quickly, that humanity is being called to shift up to a whole new level? I call it shifting. You know, we've been operating at 88.5 on the radio dial for a long time. And let's face it, the radio signal at 88.5, all we have to do is turn on the news and realize, it's not real good programming at 88.5. What would happen if we would shift up to 100.3 or maybe 104.7 or some other station? Well, this is the process that we're in right now. Humanity, each and every one of us, is being called to a whole new level, to reinvent ourselves and our way of being and take ourselves to a whole new station on that dial. It's an exciting time. But I often ask the question, how is that change going to take place? Because we hear about the talk, 2012 and consciousness evolving, and one day we're just going to wake up and be on a whole nother planet and all this stuff. How is that going to take place? And one of the things that's really come clear for me is that it's going to happen from each and every one of us. And in particular, there is a song within each and every one of you. It's your music, it's your piece, it's your composition. How we're going to change and transform the world is by each and every one of us bringing our music, that inherent piece that's within us, and sharing that and reflecting that in the world. That's how we're going to create this shift that's taking place. And right now, humanity is being called. So we have people like Danielle here who, was in counting. I'm a recovered corporaholic, former CEO guy, who got called to a whole new level of how I was going to be in my life, in reflecting that music, that piece of song that's within myself, that's within each and every one of us. And all of us are on a process right now of discovering what is that song within us, and how can I bring that out into the world. And by doing so, we are going to actually create this shift that's taking place, so that maybe we can shift the world from 88.5, where the programming, let's face it, just is real uplifting and motivating and inspiring, to maybe we could shift it to 100 point something. I don't want to get attached to any stations in particular here, where we could really tune into a whole new level of programming, a whole new level of being, a whole new level of understanding. So within each and every one of us is a song. Now, you could be the most masterful musician in the world, but if your strings aren't in tune, you're never going to play the music that you're capable of. You're never going to be able to bring the pieces of your life together in harmony and to reflect that out into the world. So what I do is I help people tune their strings. Kind of interesting, huh? Interesting concept, interesting idea. Well, I found out about 5 years ago through a process, right, that I was a channel for energy that could come through me, that I could bring through my music. And that music could in turn tune people and harmonize people's energy. It took me a little bit of a process to work into that and embody that, but that is the work that I do, is that I help people tune their strings. And we all have multiple strings and aspects of our lives, right? We have the spirituality string, we have the relationship string, the physical health string, we have the work and career string, we have the prosperity string, and then one that gets neglected awful lot is the fun and entertainment, the joy string. 6 strings on the guitar. Oh wow, I'm starting to see something kind of cool here, right? So today what I want to do is I want to focus on tuning our strings, but I want to focus on one in particular, and that's the B string. I like the B string. B string's always kind of a cool string. And that's about believing in the truth